The bedroom was dimly lit, wrapped in a cocoon of soft silence, save for the faint humming of the AC and the occasional ticking from the clock above the wardrobe. Wine lay sprawled on her side of the bed, hugging a pillow to her chest, her legs bent and bare feet slightly twitching under the thin blanket. Her eyes, however, were not on the walls or ceiling, but fixed on Jungkook. He was sitting at the edge of the bed, hunched forward slightly with his back resting against the headboard, still dressed in his loose black shirt and sweatpants. His attention was buried in the glowing screen of his phone, his brows drawn together at his thumb flicked across the screen. He had not spoken in a while, no glance, no small talk, no gentle acknowledgement of her presence. Wine's pout deepened the longer she watched him, her fingers fiddling with the corner of the pillow. She tried to stay quiet for a few more seconds, but her childish impatience had no mercy. Jungkook. He didn't look up. Jungkook, still scrolling. Wine sat up halfway, arms folded now. Seriously, you have been on your phone for like an hour? Are you texting someone important or just ignoring your wife again? Jungkook finally looked up, but his face was blank, emotionless, almost cold. I'm just catching up on work emails, Wine. You know, tomorrow's meeting is important. Wine rolled her eyes dramatically, letting herself fall back into the mattress with a loud huff. You always say that. Meetings, calls, clients. Where am I in all that? Or am I just the furniture here now? Jungkook locked his phone and placed it on the nightstand, clearly holding back a sigh. You know, that's not fair. You knew what my work schedule would be like. You sat up again, pulling the blanket around her like a frustrated burrito. Yeah, but I didn't know I would be competing with a phone for your attention every night, or that I would be married to a robot. Chunguk turned to look at her now, one row rash. A robot? Yes, you, Mr. Cold. No expressions, no flirting, no cuddles. You don't even smile at my jokes anymore. Jungkook rubbed his temples, clearly exhausted but trying not to snap. You act like a child sometimes, Wine. I don't know what to do with that energy when I come home mentally drained. That's strong. Her pout vanished, and for a second she just looked at him, quiet lips slightly parted in disbelief. But instead of breaking down, she simply blinked and smiled again, a little forced but still stubborn. Then let's do something light, something fun. Come on. Jungkook, let's play truth and dare. Jungkook's face flattered immediately. Why, please, not tonight. I'm really tired. Yeah, yeah. If you're so tired, then sleep, but you are clearly not tired enough to scroll Instagram for 30 minutes. He didn't reply. Wine scooted closer, tugging at his arm like a child tugging her favorite toy. Just one round, please. Don't make that face. One round, and then I'll let you sleep. Chunko gave her a long look, then leaned his head back against the headboard, finally relenting. Fine, one round. Wine grain and sat up straight. Okay, okay, you first, truth or dare. Truth. Wine smirked. Alright, tell me the first thought you had when you saw me in my wedding dress. He exhaled through his nose, gaze dropping to his lap. You looked beautiful. Only beautiful, not stunning, not breathtaking, just beautiful. Chunko gave a small smirk. You were beautiful in a loud way, like you didn't even know how beautiful you looked. That kind of beautiful. Once cheeks flushed, I knew it. You were head over heels that day and just pretending to be all composed. Don't push it. Wine laughed, clearly enjoying this tiny crack in his usual cool armor. My turn, I picked dare. Okay, I dare you to not talk for the next 2 minutes. Wine's smile dropped instantly. Are you trying to murder me? Jungkook raised an eyebrow. It's dare. You asked for it. Wine pressed her lips shut dramatically and made a zipping motion, but it lasted only 10 seconds before she whispered. What if I whispered, does that count? Jungkook looked up at the ceiling, completely defeated. Wine scooted closer again, her hand sliding onto his chest playfully. Okay, forget the game. Can we just sleep cuddle tonight? Like properly? I'll sleep on your chest and you can wrap your arms around me. You don't even hug me unless I beg for it. Jungkook sat still, his hands folded in his lap. Why not now? Why not? Do you not like touching me? Am I too clingy? Just say it. You don't even look at me the same way anymore. Her voice cracked, not in drama but in disappointment. Jungkook looked at her, but this time it wasn't cold, it was heavy, tired. It's not about liking or not liking. Why? I just need space sometimes. You're always all over me. I can't breathe like that. Wine blinked, her hand slowly slipped off his chest and back onto her lap. But the silence stretched, and then she said it. If I act more like your type, like those mature girls you like, will you love me more? Jungkook's expression changed completely, not angry but wounded. As if her words landed somewhere too deep. He looked away, clenched his jaw, then stood up, fine sat frozen. Jungkook, I was just asking, why are you leaving? Jungkook pulled his hoodie over his head and walked to the door. Because if I stay, I might say something I'll regret, and you don't deserve that. With that, he walked out calmly, quietly. One stared at the empty doorway, and for the first time that night, her smile didn't come back. The silence in the bedroom felt suffocating after Jungkook left. The faint sound of his footsteps echoed down the hall and faded into the distance. But Vine remained still sitting on the edge of the bed with her fingers gripped tightly around the blanket, her heart pounding with the knees. Seconds ticked by. She didn't want to be the kind of wife who chased after someone who clearly needed space, but she couldn't sit in that room alone either. Not tonight. Quietly barefoot and hesitant, she rose and tiptoed out of the bedroom, the soft cotton of her pajama pants brushing against her ankles as she padded down the hallway. The faint light spilling from the living room gave her direction. As she neared the arched entrance, she stopped, not because she saw him, but because she heard him. Jungkook was sitting on the floor beside the couch, his legs stretched out, one arm resting on the seat behind him. His hoodie sleeves were pushed into his elbows, his face buried in one hand. Across from him, his mother, Mrs. June, was calmly knitting a pale cream sweater, her eyes flicking up occasionally as she listened. Wine stayed hidden, back pressed to the hallway wall, just out of view. She wasn't proud of it, but something inside her needed to hear what he couldn't say to her directly. She's not a bad person. She's just he paused, struggling toward it. She's Too much sometimes, mom, too loud, too emotional. It's like living with a child who wants attention all the time. She is young Jungkook, and you knew that when you married her. I did, but I thought maybe with time she would, I don't know, settle down. She still acts like we are in high school. If I don't smile every 2 minutes or touch her constantly, she thinks I don't love her. It's exhausting. Once breathe hissed, her hand flying to her chest as if to keep her heart from chattering. Her eyes welled up, and before she could stop it, a single tear slid down her cheek. I just wish she understood love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes I show it in the way I stay, in the way I listen. But she wants fireworks every night, and I'm not built like that. His mother said something after that, a gentle reminder about patience and growing together. But Wine didn't hear it. Her heartbeat drowned everything else out. She backed away silently, her arms folded tightly across her chest as if shielding herself from his words. With every step, her chest felt heavier, her eyes burning. By the time she reached their bedroom again, her vision was blurry. She climbed back into bed quietly, burying herself under the blanket, curling onto her side to face the wall. She didn't cry, not fully, only that one silent tear, the rest she swallowed. And then she shut her eyes and forced her breathing to slow, pretending to sleep in case he came back. But her mind didn't rest. Her thoughts ran wild, sharp, painful yet clear. He thinks I'm a child. He's tired of me. He doesn't hate me, but I make him tired. So I have to stop. I can't lose him just because I don't know how to grow up. Her fingers clutched the bedsheet, knuckles pale. From tomorrow, I'll be better, more careful with my words, more composed, more mature. She didn't want to change who she was, but maybe she thought she could become someone who didn't overwhelm him, someone he couldn't feel the need to complain about in the middle of the night. As her breathing slowed and the ache in her chest settled into numbness, Wine whispered to herself, too soft for anyone to hear, I will become the kind of woman he won't walk away from. And with that, she lay still, unmoving, waiting for morning. The soft chime of the alarm echoed faintly through the bedroom, but Wine was already awake. She hadn't slept much, maybe an hour or two at most, but she didn't let it show. She got up from the bed slowly, her movements quiet, graceful, restrained, no playful nudges, no dramatic yawns. Jungkook stirred slightly, still laying on his side, his hair tousled, eyes half lidded. He glanced at her, expecting the usual, her crawling over to hug him, clinging like a sleepy koala, whispering, Good morning, in a sing song voice, but nothing came. She walked past and bed silently, tying her hair into a neat low bun and disappeared into the bathroom. He blinked fully awake now, his brows slightly furrowed downstairs. The air smelled of toasted bread and freshly brewed tea. His mother sat at the dining table knitting the same cream sweater, humming a soft tune. Wine emerged soon after, her clothes simple but elegant, her face fresh. She greeted politely with a small bow of her head. Good morning, Oma. Mrs. June paused her knitting and gave her a curious look. Good morning, dear. You are up early today. Wine simply smiled and walked to the kitchen. She didn't whine about breakfast being boring or ask for chocolate syrup or throw an apron on to make experimental pancakes. She moved with silent grace, set the table, placed everyone's cup precisely, and served without a single loud giggle or unnecessary chatter. Jungkook joined them shortly after. Her brows furrowed at the calm scene. Wine didn't look at him when she handed him his plate. No teasing nickname, no tug at his sleeve, no playful eye contact. He accepted the plate, slowly sitting down beside her. You didn't brush my teeth today. He meant it as a joke, and inside teased something they had done for months. One used to put toothpaste on his brush and bring it to him like a little nurse. But today she looked at him gently and said nothing. She simply continued eating her toast. What happened to her? He mumbled under his breath, taking a sip of his tea, confused and thrown off. After breakfast, before anyone could offer, wine stood up and took the plates to the sink. She washed them carefully, her sleeves folded up, her hands moving gracefully under the water. She didn't call Jungkook to come dry the dishes with her, didn't splash water on him like she used to. No laughter, just calm silence. Mrs. June observed everything in quiet shock, her needles frozen mid-knit. Later, Jungkook expected her to curl up on the couch with snacks and cartoons to follow him around, asking endless questions. But instead, Wine disappeared upstairs in the farthest corner of their study room. Wine sat cross-legged on the floor. Her favorite blanket was folded neatly beside her, and in her lap rested a thick novel she had been meaning to finish. Sunlight poured through the window, casting warm shadows across the pages. Hours passed. She didn't check her phone. She didn't forget. She read, wrote little notes, sipped tea, and read some more. And then, some time after sunset, the door creaked open softly. She looked up. Jungkook stood in the doorway, his hands buried in his pockets, his eyes carefully scanning the side before him. It looked foreign to him, while serene and unreadable, not bouncing, not talking, not trying to steal his hoodie and complain about boredom. He stepped in slowly. So, this is where you have been hiding. Wine gave a brief nod, her voice calm. Not hiding, just catching up on something I love. Jungkook leaned against the wall, watching her as if trying to decode her. You didn't talk to me today, not like before. Wine closed her book, marking the page with a bookmark. I didn't think it was necessary. He blinked at the tone, not cold, not rude, just composed. Wine. His voice had softened now. I didn't mean to hurt you last night. I was tired and frustrated. You were not doing anything wrong. You were just being you, and I think I got used to it. Maybe too used to it. You looked at him for a long moment, then stood up slowly and placed the book on the nearby shelf. You said you liked mature women, that I was too much, that I drained you. I listened. Jungkook looked away, guilt spreading through his chest. So I'm trying to become someone you won't have to complain about. Someone you won't walk out on. Jungkook stepped forward. But I didn't ask you to change, not like this. Wine smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. You didn't have to. Your words did enough. Don't worry, Jungkook, I won't trouble you anymore. And with that, she turned away gently, picked up her blanket, and exited the room without another word, leaving behind a silence that screamed louder than all her childish energy ever had. Jungkook stood frozen in the middle of the room, realization dawning too late. He didn't just silence her noise, he broke her spirit.